Mr. President.
Senator for Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to waive the mandatory quorum call with respect to the Orr nomination.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. SNAP benefits, that has been in the news and a topic of much discussion. And those benefits for over 40 million Americans lapsed over the weekend because Democrats have chosen to hold government funding hostage for political leverage, their word, at the American people's expense. In other words, they're using the American people as pawns. And because of that, their constituents, and indeed nearly 700,000 Tennesseans, are without their SNAP benefits. So are our Border Patrol agents, our air traffic controllers, and federal law enforcement. They've been working a month now without pay. This is why you have the AFGE and the Controllers Union. They're saying in the Schumer shutdown now. We also know that critical federal assistance from rural development programs to small business loans are out there in jeopardy. Across the country, people and small businesses are all suffering because of Chuck Schumer and his Schumer shutdown. And for Democrats, I think they have wanted this. They planned for it, and they wanted to see it happen, so they got it. Now, over on the House side, the Democrat whip made it very clear during a recent interview, and I quote her. She said, "Shutdowns are terrible, and of course, there will be families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have," end quote. So to the American people, realize that the Democrats you've elected see you as pawns and leverage and pieces that they can move around a chessboard. As the Senate Democrat leader said at the beginning of the shutdown, and I quote him, "Every day gets better for Democrats." They see this as improving their political chances. And over the last month, his party has voted more than a dozen times to keep the government shut down. And at the heart of their demands is the permanent extension of President Biden's COVID credits under Obamacare. Now, this would be a $450 billion expense to the U.S. taxpayer. Last week, I was on the floor talking about this and about how Democrats are peddling falsehoods to try to justify their Schumer shutdown. They claim that Obamacare subsidies are going to expire. Now, in reality, it is only the Biden COVID credit bonus that will expire. Now, what happened during COVID for the Obamacare subsidies? They took off the income caps, and a lot of people had $0 premiums. And if you were making over $500,000 a year, you too could get a Biden COVID credit bonus and subsidy from the Obamacare exchange. You too could have the U.S. taxpayer picking up the tab for 80 to 90% of your health insurance because they plussed up the credit and they removed the income caps. Now, the original Obamacare subsidies, which, by the way, do not expire, these are permanent, they are in law, the original subsidies continue for people who are at 100 to 400% of the federal poverty level. Now, our colleagues across the aisle claim that the Biden COVID credits are needed to keep the cost of health insurance premiums down. In reality, Obamacare is too expensive to afford without the subsidy. So what they're doing is propping up a broken system. In fact, since 2013, the Obamacare benchmark plan premium has increased by 237%, more than 3 times the rate for employer-sponsored health care plans that most Americans get through their work and from their employer. And as these premiums go up, taxpayers are on the hook to subsidize not the individual, but guess what? The insurance company. The subsidy doesn't go to the individual, it goes directly to the insurance company. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle need to understand that their fight for government-run health care, which is really what this entire Schumer shutdown is all about, is going to fail. It's time for them to put the American people over and before far-left politics. It is time to reopen the federal government.